โครงการต่อไปค่ะ
First and foremost, I would like to inform you that we will record the picture and video for advertising our project in the future.
Recording in progress.
Your Excellency, distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great honor to welcome all of you to second PSU International Volunteer Forums. My name is Kritapha Satyachai. I will be your host today.
สวัสดีแขกผู้มีเกียรติผู้แทนท่านสุภาพบุรุษและสุภาพสตรีนะคะยินดีต้อนรับเข้าสู่งานมหกรรมจิตอาสานานาชาติมหาวิทยาลัยสงขลานครินทร์ครั้งที่2ค่ะดิฉันนางสาวปุณพรคงฤทธิ์พิทยารับหน้าที่เป็นพิธีกรภาคภาษาไทยในวันนี้ค่ะ
Today's event will be held hybrid and we are now on site in this meeting hall of Office of Prince of Songkla University, Yai Campus. As you can see, we have online participants in Zoom meeting and we are also live on Facebook fan page, PSU Volunteer Center Facebook page. Online viewer is the live quality is good.
สำหรับรูปแบบงานในวันนี้นะคะเราจะจัดรูปแบบงานในกิจกรรมแบบไฮบริดค่ะในขณะนี้นะคะพวกเรากำลังดำเนินงานอยู่ในรูปแบบของออนไซต์ค่ะอยู่ณห้องประชุม210สำนักงานอธิการบดีมหาวิทยาลัยสงขลานครินทร์วิทยาเขตหาดใหญ่ค่ะซึ่งในส่วนของงานออนไลน์นะคะเราได้มีแขกผู้เข้าร่วมงานผ่านทางระบบ Zoom นั่นเองค่ะและเราได้ถ่ายทอดสดผ่านทางเพจ Facebook ศูนย์อาสาสมัครมอ.ผู้เข้าร่วมที่อยู่ในระบบออนไลน์สัญญาณภาพและเสียงชัดเจนดีไหมคะ
Online participants, both in Zoom and viewer on a Facebook Live, if the quality of video and sound are not good, you can contact us through the chat box.
ผู้เข้าร่วมงานทั้งใน Zoom และที่กำลังชมผ่านไลฟ์สดอยู่นะคะหากสัญญาณภาพและเสียงไม่ชัดเจนอย่างไรสามารถพิมพ์แจ้งมาได้เลยค่ะเนื่องจากการประชุมในครั้งนี้นะคะจะใช้ภาษาอังกฤษเป็นหลักสำหรับผู้เข้าร่วมคนไทยนะคะที่ต้องการล่ามประกอบการประชุมทางเราได้จัดเตรียมล่ามออนไลน์ให้กับทุกท่านโดยทุกท่านสามารถเลือกฟังก์ชันล่ามแปลภาษาหรือ Interpretation ผ่านการกดสัญลักษณ์รูปโลกในแถบเมนูของ Zoom ได้เลยค่ะและกดเลือกเป็นเมนูภาษาไทยค่ะ
This is the second time an international volunteer event has been held. It is very special occasions. These special events organized by volunteer centers and partners such as the Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, Keynote Foundation Asia, PSU organizations, Volunteer Spirit, International Volunteers for Social Development Associations or DALA Thailand, and VSA organizations. ค่ะสำหรับครั้งนี้นะคะเป็นครั้งที่2แล้วค่ะที่มีการจัดกิจกรรมอาสาสมัครในรูปแบบของนานาชาติค่ะซึ่งในปีนี้นะคะเป็นโอกาสพิเศษมากๆเลยค่ะที่ทางศูนย์อาสาสมัครและองค์กรร่วมจัดอาทิกระทรวงการพัฒนาสังคมและความมั่นคงของมนุษย์มูลนิธิคีนันแห่งเอเชียองค์กร VSO เครือข่ายจิตอาสาสมาคมอาสาสมัครเพื่อการพัฒนาสังคมดาราและองค์กร VSA นั่นเองค่ะPrince of Songkla University Volunteer Centers recognize the important work, research, and inspirations for young people, PSU students, and another university. This is achieved through regular announced volunteers activities in the southern region.
โดยศูนย์อาสาสมัครมหาวิทยาลัยสงขลานครินทร์เห็นความสำคัญอย่างยิ่งในการสร้างสรรค์พื้นที่แห่งการเรียนรู้ด้านจิตอาสาและการทำงานอาสาสมัครสู่แรงบันดาลใจในการทำงานอาสาสมัครแก่กลุ่มเยาวชนนักเรียนนักศึกษาทั้งในมหาวิทยาลัยและสถาบันอุดมศึกษาอื่นๆผ่านการจัดกิจกรรมจิตอาสาภาคใต้เป็นประจำทุกๆปีและได้มีการยกระดับงานสู่สากลมากยิ่งขึ้นนั่นเองค่ะ
In 2022, the center elevates its initiative to an international level organized by the first PSU International Volunteer Forums. The event results in the establishment of the network promoting volunteer work for development across various issues, including environmental concerns, disaster management, community development, and health promotion. Additionally, it provides a platform for participants to present their work, exchange knowledge, and learning about working mechanisms that support volunteer development. The forum was achieved across multiple dimensions and suggests roadmaps to continue organizing such events in the future.
โดยในปีพุทธศักราช 2565 นะคะ ได้มีการจัดงานประชุมระดับนานาชาติด้านอาสาสมัครครั้งที่ 1 The First PSU International Volunteer Forum ผลจากการดำเนินงานทำให้เกิดเครือข่ายการทำงานที่ขับเคลื่อนงานอาสาสมัครเพื่อสังคมในการพัฒนาประเด็นต่างๆ เช่น ประเด็นสิ่งแวดล้อม ประเด็นภัยพิบัติ ประเด็นการพัฒนาชุมชน ประเด็นสร้างเสริมสุขภาวะ เป็นต้นค่ะ อีกทั้งยังเป็นพื้นที่ที่เครือข่ายได้มีโอกาสนำเสนอผลงานแลกเปลี่ยนการเรียนรู้ การทำงาน องค์ความรู้ กลไกส่งเสริมการพัฒนางานอาสาสมัคร ซึ่งได้รับการตอบรับเป็นอย่างดีค่ะ และได้มีข้อเสนอแนะให้มีการจัดกิจกรรมดังกล่าวขึ้นอย่างต่อเนื่องค่ะ
In 2024, the second PSU International Volunteer Forums is organized under the theme Power of Youth Volunteers Connecting Everyone to Sustainable Development Goals. The forums aim to provide a platform for exchange academic knowledge, experiences, the collaborative effort in volunteer work at an international level with participating partner organizations. The main activities will include keynote speeches, experience sharing sessions, and presentations of academic work.
และในปีนี้นะคะพุทธศักราช 2567 จึงมีการกำหนดการประชุมระดับนานาชาติด้านอาสาสมัครครั้งที่ 2 The Second PSU International Volunteer Forum ขึ้นในประเด็น Power of Youth Volunteer Connecting Everyone to Sustainable Development Goal ค่ะเพื่อเปิดพื้นที่ในการแลกเปลี่ยนเรียนรู้เชิงวิชาการประสบการณ์และความร่วมมือในการทำงานด้านอาสาสมัครร่วมกันในระดับนานาชาติจากองค์กรภาคีที่เข้าร่วมโดยมีกิจกรรมหลักได้แก่การปาฐกถาพิเศษการนำเสนอแลกเปลี่ยนประสบการณ์และการนำเสนอผลงานด้านวิชาการค่ะ
For schedule for today, in a few minutes we will proceed the opening ceremony. After the ceremony, we will move on to the keynote speech session. Today, we are honored to have Mr. Christian Hansel, two representatives from UN volunteers, who will deliver a special speech on the topic Power of Volunteers Opportunities for Young Change Makers.
สำหรับกำหนดการในวันนี้นะคะในอีกไม่กี่นาทีข้างหน้าเราจะเข้าสู่ช่วงพิธีเปิดค่ะและหลังจากเสร็จพิธีเปิดเราจะเข้าสู่ช่วงปาฐกถาพิเศษจากวิทยากรซึ่งวันนี้เราได้รับเกียรติจากมิสเตอร์คริสเตียนไฮเซลตัวแทนจาก UN Volunteer จะมาปาฐกถาพิเศษในหัวข้อ Special Speed Power of Volunteer Opportunity for Young Change Maker ค่ะ
At this moment, the chair of the ceremony, Associate Professor Dr. Niwat Pradap, President of Prince of Songkla University, have arrived at the conference room. We would now like to welcome everyone to the opening ceremony of the second PSU International Volunteer Forum.
ค่ะขณะนี้นะคะท่านประธานในพิธีผู้ช่วยศาสตราจารย์ดร.นิวัฒน์แก้วประดับอธิการบดีมหาวิทยาลัยสงขลานครินทร์ได้เดินทางมายังห้องประชุมแห่งนี้แล้วพวกเราทั้งสองคนจะขอนำทุกท่านเข้าสู่ช่วงพิธีเปิดงานมหกรรมจิตอาสานานาชาติมหาวิทยาลัยสงขลานครินทร์ครั้งที่ 2 ค่ะและในลำดับถัดไปจะขอเชิญทุกท่านชมวิดีทัศน์แนะนำการจัดกิจกรรมในวันนี้ด้วยค่ะ
We all know that great changes always start from a small step, and the power of youth is the first step that can move the world to a sustainable future. They are not just volunteers, but leaders who are ready to initiate changes in every aspect and connect prosperity and peace through small actions filled with love and hope. A cooperative intention of gathering, no matter where and when, from the heart for a better world. Every goal is to connect with the world without limits, create international cooperation. We all know that great changes always start from a small step, And the power of youth is the first step that can move the world to a sustainable future. They are not just volunteers, but leaders who are ready to initiate changes in every aspect. All with the same goals, everyone can become an essential part in initiating changes. The power of the new generation of youth will provide a foundation towards sustainable development goals.
And
ค่ะและในลำดับถัดไปนะคะขอเชิญผู้ช่วยศาสตราจารย์ดรนิวัฒน์แก้วประดับอธิการบดีมหาวิทยาลัยสงขลานครินทร์กล่าวต้อนรับผู้เข้าร่วมงานในวันนี้ค่ะ
His Excellency the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Social Development and Human Securities, keynote speakers, experts from the United Nations volunteers, the organizing committee, and all participants. On behalf of the organizing committee and Prince of Songkla University, I would like to welcome everyone to the second PSU International Volunteer Forum 2024, Power of Youth, Connecting Everyone to Sustainable Development Goals, which is held from 28 to 29 September 2024 at Prince of Songkla University, Yai Campus at Southern Thailand. I would like to thank His Excellency Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, Mr. Anukul Breakout, for kindly chair for the opening of this forum. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Christian Hansel, Regional Manager from the UNV Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific, our keynote speakers today, and also experts from institutions and partner organizations, which are include first Volunteer Service Overseas or VSO, second Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, third Keynote Foundation Asia, fourth Volunteer Spirit, fifth Volunteer Spirit Association or VSA, and lastly International Volunteers for Social Development Association or DALA, and all honorable participants from all sectors at national and international levels who make great contribution to volunteer work and will continue creating value network in the future. PSU believe that volunteer is the key factor for sustainability development. Our key theme of Prince of Songkla University that follow His Royal Highness Prince Mahidol Narudet, which is also is for the benefit of mankind. We use this as a guideline for the university operations. PSU has provided several activities to encourage our students and staff to have the volunteer spirit. We established the PSU Volunteers Center to drive volunteer work for social development and to coordinate volunteer network within Thailand as well as international level. Until now, we have organized 5 volunteer fairs and symposium in the southern part of Thailand, and also 2 international forums. Once again, I would like to welcome all participants that have a volunteer spirit for this second international forum. I sincerely hope that all participants from all sectors will benefit from this forum and create volunteer networks for sustainable development in the future. So let's move forward for our volunteer spirit for sustainable development. Thank you very much.
Thank you to President for giving the welcome speech to all participants, both online, on-site in this room, and those joining us online. Next, please join me to welcome Associate Professor Dr. Narit Dongsuwan, Director of Prince of Songkla University Volunteer Center, and the Chairperson of this forum to deliver a report.
ขอขอบพระคุณท่านอธิการบดีค่ะที่มากล่าวต้อนรับผู้เข้าร่วมงานในครั้งนี้ทั้งที่อยู่ในออนไซต์กับเราในห้องนี้และทุกท่านที่อยู่ในออนไลน์ค่ะดิฉันขอเชิญรองศาสตราจารย์ดรนฤทธิ์ดวงสุวรรณผู้อำนวยการศูนย์อาสาสมัครมหาวิทยาลัยสงขลานครินทร์ซึ่งเป็นประธานการจัดงานในครั้งนี้ค่ะ
Thank you very much. The Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, the President of Prince of Songkla University, Assistant Professor Dr. Niwat Kapadat, Mr. Clinton Hazel, Regional Manager UNV, Regional Office of Asia and Pacific, speakers, and honorable participants. On behalf of the organizing committee of the second PSU International Volunteer Forum, I would like to express our appreciation to Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Social Development and Human Security for officially opening the event. Recently, the World Committee is facing critical problems that continue increasing in the complexity. Problem solving will that lead to sustainable refined cooperation from the parties, especially young people who important human resource and embrace volunteers from public sector. Volunteering according to international volunteer standards guidelines will effectively promote the operation. Therefore, volunteer work for local, regional, national, and international level. PSU Volunteer Center emphasize creating learning space in the inspiring volunteer work for children and young people. The PSU Volunteer Center has organized five creating the volunteer of PSU and from institution. The result of the forum, another forum is the last forum. The result over the past several years have creating working network and drive volunteer work in the development of various issues, developmental issue, disaster issue, community development issue, and health promotion issue. It is also opportunity for networks, present diverse and exchange working experience, knowledge, and method of contribute to promoting the development of volunteer work. Their participants gain to benefit having space in exchange knowledge from various organizations. Therefore, they would like to have event held regular every year. This year, the PSU Volunteer Center has opportunity to work with international volunteer network that have knowledge and guideline to volunteer operation that meets local needs. Therefore, Event has been raised the international level, expand diverse of in this area. The event will be held today, 28 to 29 of September 2024 in hybrid format. Before conference room 210 Center Office of President of Songkla University. The objective of the forum are to share volunteer experience and research focusing on volunteer management factor, mechanism related to volunteer of development, and to inspire students and other people to learn important and value volunteering, which is according to global volunteering standard. And three objectives. Objective 3 is to form network to volunteerism to international among all participants and partnership. The participants are from three important sectors follow. The 500 students and staff from 70 domestic and international academic institutions, and 10 organizations that drive volunteer work. And the participants of interest people. There are 4 main activities. One is observation space encourage volunteer work by young people. And the four sessions to sustainable development goal. People, possibility, planet, peace, and partnership. And 3 main activity is a workshop to development potential to volunteer work. And 4, field work visit Songkla province to learn about volunteer activity. The effective result of the event to exchange the work experience, to brainstorm and collaboration to promote volunteer work in the national level towards sustainable development goals. Finally, I would like to invite Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Social Development and Human Security to deliver our opening speech of the second PSU International Volunteer Forum, Power of Youth Volunteer Connecting People to Sustainable Development Goals. Please welcome Mr. Anupul Pitkel. Please, thank you very much.
Next, we will proceed with the opening ceremony of Second International Volunteer Forum. We are honored to have Mr. Anupul Pitkel, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, to officially opening the event today.
และลำดับต่อไปนะคะจะเป็นการเปิดพิธีจัดงานมหกรรมจิตอาสานานาชาติครั้งที่ 2 โดยจะได้รับเกียรติจากท่านนายอนุกูลปิดแก้วปลัดกระทรวงการพัฒนาสังคมและความมั่นคงของมนุษย์กล่าวเปิดงานในวันนี้ขอเรียนเชิญค่ะ
The President of Prince of Songkla University, Mr. Christian Anson, Regional Manager, UNV Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific, Deputy Speakers, Director of PSU Volunteer Center, and all honorable participants. On behalf of the Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, I am honored to preside over the opening ceremony of the second PSU International Volunteer Forum 2024. The theme of this year forum is the power of youth volunteer, connecting everyone to sustainable development goals. As we all know, volunteering makes significant contribution to delivering social welfare service to the public, community, and society. Volunteers dedicate their effort to helping others without expecting anything in return, within the context of social welfare. Which fall within my responsibility. Volunteer are part of the three sectors: the public sector, the private sector, and civil society working together in the essential field. The service provided by volunteer includes prevention, intervention, rehabilitation, and development of individual and community to ensure appropriate welfare and quality of life, fostering harmonious and cohesive society. The effective promotion of volunteering defines a coordinated effort that bring together concepts, processes, and guidelines to support and encourage volunteers. Agencies at the local, national, and international levels are instrumental in advancing this cause, recognizing people as valuable human resources. These sectors are committed to fostering inclusivity by engaging individuals of all genders and age, particularly children and youth. Educational institutions play a vital role in this effort, serving as key platforms for instilling values and raising public awareness among young people by cultivating a volunteer spirit and teaching the importance of selfless services. This institution help lay the foundation for a culture of volunteerism. This will form valuable social capital, contributing to the advanced society. This fosters value of selfless service to others with compassion of humanity that knows no boundary, leading to volunteer projects and activities that address various issues and support community around the world. I believe that the gathering of all of you, over 1,000 individuals from various countries here today, show a collective commitment to fostering a society with enhanced value. It also reflects the intent to recognize the importance of promoting volunteer work, building volunteer networks, and raising awareness of the value of children and youth. With a spirit of volunteerism, which will benefit individuals, organizations, and networks both within their own country and beyond their borders. I would like to commend Prince of Songkla University and the organizing committee for recognizing and supporting the vital role of volunteers at local, regional, national, and international levels. I also congratulate and thank all who have shown their interest and support by attending this forum. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to the network partner organizations, the distinguished speakers, and the organizing committee for their great contribution and hard work in organizing the important event. I wish this forum great success in all its objectives. Now, at this opportune moment, I would like to declare open the second PSU International Volunteer Forum 2024 Power of Youth Volunteer Connecting Everyone to Sustainable Development Goals.
Thank you very much to the Permanent Secretary for honoring us to opening speech and giving us a good idea on volunteer work for Social Day.
ขอขอบพระคุณท่านปลัดกระทรวงค่ะ ที่ให้เกียรติกล่าวเปิดงานและให้ข้อคิดดีๆในการทำงานอาสาสมัครเพื่อสังคมกับเราในวันนี้
We move on to the much anticipated keynote speech. I would like to ask everyone both on Zoom meeting and in this conference room to join us a group photo.
ก่อนจะเข้าสู่ช่วงปาฐกถาพิเศษนะคะ ที่หลายคนรอคอยจะขอทุกท่านทั้งในซูมและในห้องประชุมนี้นะคะ ถ่ายภาพร่วมกันค่ะ
May I invite presidents on the stage?
ขอเรียนเชิญท่านอธิการบดีบนเวทีค่ะ
For the first photo session, may I invite the representative from the co-organizing organizations.
ลำดับการถ่ายรูปในช่วงที่1นะคะ ขอเชิญตัวแทนจากองค์กรร่วมจัด องค์กรกระทรวงการพัฒนาสังคมและความมั่นคงของมนุษย์ มูลนิธิคีนันแห่งเอเชีย องค์กร VSO เครือข่ายจิตอาสา สมาคมอาสาสมัครเพื่อการพัฒนาสังคมดารา องค์กร VSA ค่ะ
For the second photo sessions, may I invite the administrative team for each department of Prince of Songkla University, including the presidents, the advice for student development and alumni relations, and the exclusive representing the co-organizing network. Please join us for a group photo.
สำหรับการถ่ายรูปในช่วงที่2นะคะ ขอเชิญคณะผู้บริหารส่วนต่างๆของมหาวิทยาลัยสงขลานครินทร์ท่านอธิการบดี ท่านรองอธิการบดีฝ่ายพัฒนานักศึกษาและศิษย์เก่าสัมพันธ์ และผู้บริหารแทนเครือข่ายผู้จัดงานทุกท่าน ขอเชิญร่วมเป็นเกียรติบันทึกภาพร่วมกันค่ะ
One more again, please. And now the opening ceremony of second PSU International Volunteer Forums has been concluded. Next, we'll move on to the keynote speech on the topic, Power of Volunteers Opportunities for Young Change Makers. This session will be moderated by Kunantini Malanon, Deputy Director from the Center of DSG Research and Support, Thammasat University, and Working Committee of the International Volunteer Center.
เสร็จสิ้นไปแล้วนะคะสำหรับพิธีเปิดงานมหกรรมจิตอาสามหาวิทยาลัยสงขลานครินทร์ครั้งที่2และลำดับถัดไปจะเข้าสู่ช่วงปาฐกถาพิเศษในหัวข้อ Power of Volunteer Opportunity for Young Change Maker โดยจะมีคุณนันทินีมาลานนท์รองผู้อำนวยการศูนย์วิจัยและสนับสนุนเป้าหมายการพัฒนาที่ยั่งยืนมหาวิทยาลัยธรรมศาสตร์และคณะทำงานศูนย์อาสาสมัครแห่งชาติเป็นผู้ดำเนินรายการในลำดับถัดไปขอเรียนเชิญคุณนันทินีค่ะ
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor to be here and to be your moderator for this very special occasion and very special speech for this session, which will be delivered by Mr. Christian Hansel, a regional manager and head of office of UNV Regional Program for Asia and the Pacific. And his speech title is The Power of Volunteer Opportunities for Young Change Makers, which will highlight the critical role of youth volunteer in sustainable development. Mr. Hansel was appointed to the UNV regional office in September 2023. His professional expertise and leadership path include a broad range of development and management areas, including human rights, governance, decentralization, community-driven development, peace building and social cohesion, volunteerism and civil society support. Previously, he served as a UNV regional manager for the Arab states, where he successfully expanded the UNV services in Northern Africa and the Middle East. Mr. Hansel also served at the UNV headquarters in Bonn, Germany, where he managed host country relations and the joint UN agency premises. He also headed UNDP's governance and local development programs in countries in the transition in Eastern Europe and Southeast Asia in Myanmar. Mr. Hansel's special speech was a video recorded for you guys today. Now let us hear from him.
Good morning. Savadi Krap, everyone. My name is Christian Heinzel. I'm the regional manager of the United Nations Volunteers Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific. And it's a real pleasure to be here with you today at the second PSU International Volunteer Forum. First of all, I would like to thank the host of today's forum, the Prince of Songkla University's Volunteer Center, the Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, Voluntary Services Overseas, and the Kennan Foundation Asia. This forum is a fantastic opportunity to share experiences and to learn from one another and to strengthen our joint commitment to volunteerism. Thank you for also inviting United Nations volunteers. Today I want to talk about something that lies at the very core of our mission at UNV, the power of volunteers to connect people, communities, and nations to the Sustainable Development Goals. Volunteers of all ages contribute immensely to this effort, and youth in particular brings energy and fresh perspectives that drive diverse solutions all over the globe. The United Nations Volunteers Program plays a modest yet vital role in this global effort. We started small in 1971 when UNV mobilized 35 volunteers who at that time served in 3 countries, while today more than 12,300 global citizens are each year engaged as UN volunteers with UN agencies, funds, programs and missions. And in Asia Pacific this year will go beyond 2,000 UN volunteers serving in 36 countries. UNV's role is to help to amplify the power of volunteerism within the UN system. UN volunteers, driven by a shared commitment to peace, development and humanitarian action, work effectively to address the world's most pressing challenges as part of the global and the regional UN response. The work of the United Nations is more crucial than ever as the world is facing significant challenges that it can only address collectively. The triple planetary crisis, climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution is a pressing global issue highlighted by the United Nations and also critically impacting the Asia-Pacific region. These challenges, frankly, for all of us often feel overwhelming. But still, volunteers are stepping up across the globe and in this region, and they are taking actions. They are, for example, leading reforestation projects that restore ecosystems. They are driving no plastic campaigns, demonstrating that meaningful change is not just possible, but that it is happening now. Today, more than half of the world's population is under the age of 30, and their voices are more crucial than ever. As our UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, has said, young people are on the front lines of the struggle to build a better future for all. He recognizes, as we all do, that youth are not just witnesses to change, but they are the driving force behind it. Within the United Nations systems, youth are playing an increasingly vital role. In 2018, the UN Youth Strategy has been launched, emphasizing the need to engage, empower, and connect young people to advance the Sustainable Development Goals. When it comes to volunteering, youth are leading the way. Over the past decade, the average age of UN volunteers has steadily shifted from 37 years in 2014 to 34 years in 2024, demonstrating a growing trend of younger people stepping up to serve. Based on data collected by United Nations volunteers, which is more than 1,200 volunteers per year, and with regards to their role for the SDGs, more than 1/3 of UN volunteers, about 36%, contribute to SDG 16. That's the SDG about peace, justice, and strong institutions, reflecting a significant role of volunteers in fragile contexts. This was followed by contributions to SDG 5, which deals with gender equality, and SDG 3, which deals with good health and well-being, at roughly 20%. These statistics highlight UN volunteers' emphasis to contribute to peace, justice, gender equality, and to reduce inequalities globally. Now, I want to share 3 observations from my own experience, how youth volunteers are making indeed a difference and leading the way forward to a better future. How do they do that? Well, first, through courage to experiment and innovation. Second, through ability to transform setbacks into opportunities. And thirdly, through inclusive and diverse leadership. To illustrate these observations and to move from a rather abstract discussion to the concrete life, let me introduce to you 3 inspiring young volunteers whose stories speak for themselves. First, Wu Uyen, a former UN volunteer who served as a communications officer with WHO in Vietnam during COVID-19, who describes herself as someone who finds excitement in challenge and who reflects on her volunteer effort with WHO at that time as a life-changing experience. Let's listen to herself in a short video that I would like to present to you.
I am a UN volunteer. I'm serving at World Health Organization Vietnam, and this has been the most meaningful time of my life. My duty station is in Hanoi, the capital city of Vietnam. Even it is more than 1,000 kilometers away from my hometown in the south, I don't feel too far away. As in here, traffic, food, people, and landscape are very much authentic and amazingly Vietnamese. My role at work is a communication officer. I'm the one who is behind the camera, editing, and managing social media. One of the most exciting tasks I've been doing is, together with our great communication team, we created all communication materials for COVID-19 awareness on social media since the early response of the pandemic. I would say challenges bring up my excitements. It is when we travel long journeys to many far-flung areas of the country, to meet and feature people, to bring their voices to be heard and to inspire others to be healthier. It is also a big honor when I was there at the airport filming the arrival of the COVID-19 vaccines from the COVAX facility. This was a historic moment, an epic, unforgettable honor for me. Communication material production is like making a piece of art. No matter how chaotic it is on field or how limited resources we have, once we have a good story, we are energized to make it to our best. No matter how many hours we have to spend or how urgent it is, we are on the right way to make it there. In silence. So that every night, when I lay down in bed, a post is scheduled to go. Many reactions, share, rich, can be rewards for my eyes. But it is not just this. It is about seeing the efforts of hundreds of people all over the world behind the scene, technical, frontliners, and partners, to bring a critical public health good, to promote health, keep the world safe, and serve the vulnerable. And it's part of my job to make those efforts recognized. I am a UN volunteer, and I'm proud of it.
I hope you liked the video. In this video, Wu Yuan demonstrates how she transformed the challenges of the crisis of the pandemic into an opportunity for impactful work with WHO for the health and well-being of many people. Using her communication and artistic and language skills, she managed to connect with a broad audience, ensuring that vital health information reached local communities. Her story is simple, but it's a powerful example of how young people can drive meaningful change through innovation and creativity. My second example is Malha Kalambe, an inspiring young volunteer environmentalist and the founder of the Beach Please organization. Malha is leading India's largest youth-led community dedicated to environmental conservation. He has spearheaded beach cleanup efforts that have removed over 8 million kilograms of trash from coastlines. But Malha's work goes beyond cleaning up the shores. It's about sparking a movement that calls on each of us to rethink our role in caring for this planet. His work reminds us that it's up to everyone who shares this earth to take steps now to protect it for today and for the future generation. Now let's hear from Malha himself and see how his journey has inspired more and more people in India to act.
Hello, Namaste. I am Malhar Kalambe from India. I'm an environmentalist and a content creator. I'm also the founder of Beach Please, India's largest youth-led community working towards environmental conservation. My journey as an environmentalist dates back to July 2017, when I visited Bali with my friends on a vacation. During my visit to Bali, I was amazed to see the pristine beaches of Bali. After returning from my trip, I once visited the Dadar beach during the Ganeshotsav. The state in which I saw the Dadar beach was really very disheartening for me. The entire beach was accumulated with plastic waste. This triggered a question in my mind. Why are the beaches abroad so clean and the beaches in Mumbai are not? When I went back home, I was having a conversation with my mother regarding the polluted beaches in Mumbai. I was basically ranting that nobody's taking up the responsibility to clean up our beaches. At the end of the conversation, my mother simply said, "If you think the beach isn't clean, just go and clean it. Stop complaining about it." This motivated me to initiate a cleanup drive. I called up a few of my school friends and shared my idea of organizing a cleanup drive at Dadar beach. Fortunately, I got a good response from them. Some 15 of my school friends turned up for the first cleanup drive. Initially, I thought that I would clean the beach once and it would stay clean forever, only to realize that with every high tide, there is more waste that washes up the beach. So what had started as a school reunion has now turned into a youth movement. Beach Please is a community by the youth and for the youth. We have been primarily focusing at the Dadar Beach and Meethe River in Mumbai and the mangrove ecosystems in Navi Mumbai through weekly cleanup drives. Apart from this, we conduct sensitization programs with schools, colleges and local communities and have conducted more than 250 seminars and workshops. We have also organized more than 500 plus cleanup drives in the last 6 years. Our community has managed to clean and dispose of more than 8 million kgs of garbage in a span of 305 weeks and counting, and has also engaged more than 4 lakh citizens hailing from different backgrounds over the years. Beach Please has an active volunteer base of 1,20,000 volunteers across the nation, 90% of which are school kids and college students. We also make content around environmental conservation, sustainability, and youth participation in nation building, because good content is the best way to sensitize the youth. I founded Beach Please at the age of 19. Back then, I was pursuing chartered accountancy. Though I completed my graduation, I had to drop out of CA, so I could continue chasing my dreams of making the beaches of Mumbai waste-free. Volunteering is at the very core of being a human. So on this International Volunteer Day, I urge everyone, especially the youth, to take action and do something that brings some positive impact on the people around you. Because the world is changed by your example and not by your opinion.
Now, as my number 3, let's turn to use power for inclusive and diverse leadership. In this regard, I would like to share with you the story of Saad Alam Khan, a national UN youth volunteer with UNFPA in India, who works with his UN organization on youth-friendly, gender-sensitive and inclusive sexual and reproductive health services, based on his own strong belief that real progress is only possible when everyone is included. For Saad, leaving no one behind is more than just a phrase. It's a commitment he feels deeply in his work every day. And you will be able to see in his video that he is indeed also very convincing.
Hello everyone, Namaste. My name is Saad Alam Khan. My gender pronouns are he, him, and I identify as a queer Muslim person. Currently, I'm working at United Nations Population Fund, Country Office, India, as a National Youth UNV. So I always say this, that I may have been on the planet for the past 24 years, but I only took birth 2 years ago. People from the LGBTQ community do not take birth as 0 or 1. We take birth when we are able to fully live our true self. Growing up as a young queer Muslim person, I had always been at the receiving end of discrimination, both at personal and public spaces. It was always a dream to work for social development and causes that I believe in, causes that I face and live every single day. Therefore, the dream of working at the United Nations started. People often say, there's a lot to understand, LGBTQ, so many terms. And I always say, there is one term common to humanity, common to humankind in understanding, which is respect. Let's start there. And that was my first experience when I walked into the UN house. As we say at United Nations workspace motto, leaving no one behind, it is not just a term, it's something that you feel in experience. As I said, I was hesitant in the beginning, but people around me for the first time did not even ask me why you wear what you wear. They asked me why you do what you believe in. And that was very motivating for me. When I walked into the UN, I saw people working passionately, regardless of their social, economic, regional, religious, and gender identities. And that was very motivating for me. It is undeniable that working on social issues is difficult, but a place where I can be myself fully and freely, I can give back to my best potential, such as my UN family.
So as we could see through the inspiring stories of these 3 remarkable young volunteers, what they all share in common is the wish to transform, the wish to drive change, and the courage to act in the face of difficulty. These examples resonate well with the core values of United Nations volunteers as we believe in inspiration in action and in creating more diverse and inclusive platforms in the UN system where people from all walks of life come together to contribute their skills, their passion, and their dedication towards the shared goal of achieving the SDGs. If you are a young person looking to make a difference, volunteering with local volunteer organizations or with the United Nations volunteers could be your chance to do something meaningful for the local communities or at a global scale. As a volunteer with the UN, you could find yourself in a variety of roles, reflecting the diverse needs of our world today. You could be contributing to peace building, to missions, to providing healthcare, to advocating for human rights, combating climate change, or advancing education with digital skills and supporting vulnerable communities. But volunteering is more than just filling a role. It's about finding new and concrete solutions to sustain the world we are living in. And volunteering is also not just about giving. It's also about growing and learning. It's a chance to learn new skills, to face challenges, to build your local and global networks, and to use your volunteering activities as a basis and a stepping stone for growing your own career. Over the past 3 years, from 2021 to 2023, more than 50 UN volunteers of Thai nationality have served each year with the United Nations. This year, 54 of them are supporting UN agencies in Thailand, and 8 of them are serving abroad. The number of Thai volunteers in the UN system has been growing consistently through the past years. However, there should be still more space to grow and to create more opportunities in Thailand for national volunteers as well as abroad. Governments indeed have a critical role to play to create an environment that is conducive for volunteering. The 2022 State of the World Volunteerism Report, with the theme Building Equal and Inclusive Societies, called on policymakers to consider the following actions if they want to fully unleash the power of volunteerism. 1. To leverage the expertise, the knowledge, and the experience of volunteers as a crucial resource for national development. 2. To see volunteers as bridge builders and to work alongside with them to co-create solutions that meet the need of the people. 3. To recognize both equally formal and informal volunteers' contribution, to make volunteer opportunities more inclusive, to address the still existing barriers within volunteering, like gender imbalance, and to ensure that also marginalized groups have equal opportunities to engage in volunteerism. Finally, also the request to invest more in volunteering data collection, research, and measurement. So as coming to the end of my speech, there is a saying that volunteering is the ultimate exercise of democracy, meaning when you volunteer, you vote every day about the kind of community you want to live in. So I invite you to consider to become a volunteer, whether with the UN or with your local community. Every action and every effort counts. Let's create a better future together through volunteering. Let's take one step at a time, but let's take a leap together. Thank you very much.
Captivating and really brought the topic to life with the 3 great inspiring examples. So to conclude this session, I would like to share some key takeaways and some essential messages from his speech. Mr. Hansel's speech really lies at the very core of the mission of the United Nations volunteers, which is the power of volunteers to connect people, community, and the nations to the sustainable development. Volunteers of all ages contribute immensely to this effort, and youth in particular brings energy and fresh perspective that drive diverse solutions all over the globe. UNV's role is to help to amplify the power of volunteerism within the UN system. and volunteers driven by a shared commitment to peace, development, and humanitarian action to address the world's most pressing challenges. As part of the global and the regional response, the work of the United Nations volunteer is more crucial than ever as the world is facing significant challenges that it can only address collectively: the triple planetary crisis, climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. These challenges for all of us often feel overwhelming, but still volunteers are stepping out across the globe and they are taking actions like the 3 examples mentioned in the video. The first case is a UN volunteer who is a national volunteer serving as a communication officer with the World Health Organization in Vietnam during the COVID-19, which became a life-changing experience for her. She demonstrates how she transformed the challenges of the crisis of the pandemic into an opportunity for impactful work with WHO for the health and well-being of the people. Using her communication and artistic and language skills, she managed to connect with the broad audiences, ensuring the vital health information reached local communities. The second case is a young Indian environmentalist who was inspired by his experience of visiting clean and beautiful beach in Bali. And later he founded his own youth-led movement for beach cleanup effort called Beach Please, which became one of the largest youth movements in India. In this case, it goes beyond cleaning up the shores. It's about sparkling a movement that calls on each of us to rethink our role in caring of our planet, to remind us that it's up to everyone who shares this earth to take steps now to protect it for today and for the future generations. And the last case is a national UN volunteer with UNFPA in India who works within the UN Organization for Youth-Friendly, Gender-Sensitive, and Inclusive Sexual and Reproductive Health Services. As he refers to himself as a queer Muslim, there's a lot to understand about the LGBTQ community, but for him, that's one term common, which is humanity and respect. And that was his first experience when he walked into the UN house, where people around him for the first time did not even ask him why he wear or what he wear. They asked him why you do what you believe in, and that was very motivating him. As we could see inspiring story of these remarkable young volunteers, what they all share is the wish to transform, the wish to drive change, and the courage to act in the face of difficulty. In Mr. Hansel's conclusion, he emphasized that volunteering is more than just filling a role. It's about finding new and concrete solutions to sustain the world we are living in. And volunteering is not just about giving, it's about growing and learning. It's a chance to learn new skills, to face challenges, to build your local and global networks. Governments have a critical role to play to create an environment that is conducive for volunteering, including recognizing the volunteering as a driver of sustainable development and investing more in volunteer data collection, research, and measurement. And the last message that I'm really impressed, and I totally agree with Mr. Hansel, is that volunteering is the ultimate exercise of democracy. It means that when you volunteer, you vote every day about the kind of the community you want to live in. Wow. That's the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Khun Nantini, for our special guest speaker, Mr. Christian Hansel. I believe everyone have now heard how the power of youth is great and how young people play a significant role in participating in the volunteer work on various issues happening in our world.
ขอขอบคุณคุณนันทินีมาลานนท์ค่ะวิทยากรพิเศษ Mr. Christian Hansel ทุกท่านคงได้ฟังกันแล้วนะคะว่าพลังของเยาวชนนั้นเป็นพลังที่ยิ่งใหญ่และมีส่วนในการเข้าไปมีส่วนร่วมในการทำงานอาสาสมัครเพื่อสังคมในประเด็นต่างๆที่จะเกิดขึ้นในโลกนั่นเองค่ะ
For the next sessions in this morning, we will have 3 breakout rooms. For room number 1, is research and voluntary academic work for sustainable development. And second room is the role of volunteer work among varieties. And room number 3, the value of volunteers' work in social responsibility.
ค่ะและในลำดับถัดไปนะคะก็จะเป็นช่วงเสวนาในห้องย่อยต่างๆค่ะโดยช่วงเช้านะคะจะมีห้องเสวนาทั้งหมด3ห้องย่อยด้วยกันค่ะห้องที่1นะคะจะเป็นงานวิจัยและบทความทางวิชาการเกี่ยวกับการพัฒนาที่ยั่งยืน Research and Voluntary Academic Work for Sustainable Development ค่ะทุกท่านที่สนใจเข้าร่วมฟังห้องนี้นะคะสามารถอยู่ในลิงก์ซูมอันนี้ต่อไปได้เลยหรือว่าจะถ้าเป็นออนไซต์ก็สามารถนั่งอยู่ในห้องนี้ได้เลยค่ะสำหรับห้องเสวนาห้องที่2นะคะบทบาทของอาสาสมัครกับการทำงานท่ามกลางความหลากหลาย The role of volunteer work among variety นะคะทุกท่านที่สนใจเข้าร่วมฟังห้องนี้สามารถกดลิงก์ซูมในช่องแชทที่เขียนว่า room 2ได้เลยค่ะสำหรับห้องเสวนาห้องที่3นะคะคุณค่าของงานอาสาสมัครกับความรับผิดชอบต่อสังคม The value of volunteer work in social responsibility ค่ะ
Anyone interested in joining the sessions in this room can click on the Zoom link in the chat labeled Room 3.
ทุกท่านที่สนใจเข้าร่วมรับฟังห้องนี้นะคะสามารถกดลิงก์ซูมในช่องแชทที่เขียนว่า Room 3ได้เลยค่ะ
For those who are joining online, the organizing teams have sent the Zoom link for the breakout rooms to everyone via email. You can check the link for the breakout rooms that you are interested in. If anyone has not received the links, please feel free to ask to the chat. Our team will be able to answer your questions.
สำหรับผู้เข้าร่วมออนไลน์นะคะทางทีมผู้จัดได้ทำการส่งลิงก์ซูมของห้องย่อยต่างๆให้กับทุกท่านผ่านทางอีเมลเป็นที่เรียบร้อยแล้วค่ะผู้เข้าร่วมสามารถไปตรวจสอบลิงก์ห้องย่อยต่างๆที่ท่านสนใจได้แต่หากท่านยังไม่ได้รับลิงก์ก็สามารถแชทสอบถามมาได้เลยค่ะทางเราจะมีทีมงานคอยตอบคำถามของทุกท่านและสำหรับผู้เข้าร่วมแบบออนไซต์ณห้องประชุมแห่งนี้จะมีอาสาสมัครคอยพาท่านไปยังห้องเสวนาต่างๆหากท่านสนใจห้องใดท่านก็สามารถแจ้งเจ้าหน้าที่ที่ประจำอยู่แต่ละห้องได้เลยค่ะ
For on-site participating, our volunteers will take you to the room discussion. If you're interested in a specific room, you can inform to staff station at each room. For this conference room, it will become room 1 in the morning sessions, focusing on the topic research and voluntary academic works for sustainable developments. Those who have chosen this room can stay here. Online participants interested in the topic can also remain on the current Zoom link.
สำหรับห้องประชุมแห่งนี้นะคะในช่วงเช้าจะกลายเป็นห้องประชุมเสวนาหมายเลข1ค่ะในประเด็นงานวิจัยและบทความทางวิชาการเกี่ยวกับการพัฒนาที่ยั่งยืน Research and Voluntary Academic Work for Sustainable Development ใครที่เลือกห้องนี้ไว้สามารถอยู่ในห้องนี้ต่อไปได้เลยค่ะ
I would like to remind everyone once again for online participants, the organizing teams have sent the Zoom link for the breakout room for everyone via email. Please check which Zoom links correspond to the breakout rooms you are interested in. If anyone haven't get the link, feel free to let us know in the Zoom chat. In the Zoom chat.
ขอย้ำอีกครั้งนะคะสำหรับผู้เข้าร่วมทางออนไลน์ทางทีมผู้จัดได้ทำการส่งลิงก์ซูมของห้องย่อยต่างๆให้กับทุกท่านผ่านทางอีเมลเป็นที่เรียบร้อยแล้วค่ะทุกท่านสามารถเข้าไปตรวจสอบได้ว่าห้องย่อยที่ท่านสนใจต้องเข้าซูมลิงก์ไหนหากท่านที่ยังไม่ได้รับสามารถแชทสอบถามมาได้เลยค่ะ
For the afternoon session, we will meet again at 1:30 p.m. There will be no breakout rooms. Anyone can return to the main Zoom link for the main room.
สำหรับช่วงบ่ายนะคะเราจะกลับมาเจอกันในเวลา 13:30 นาทีโดยจะไม่มีการแบ่งห้องย่อยต่างๆค่ะทุกท่านสามารถกลับเข้ามาที่ลิงก์ซูมอันหลักที่เป็นเมนรูมนี้ได้เลยนะคะ
See you in the afternoon.
แล้วเจอกันตอนบ่ายค่ะ
use. So we will be sharing the message on the chat box. So if you are able to look at the chat, and we will make sure that we also, remind you of the time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Listening and learning from our honorable speakers. We have 4 speakers from Thailand, from Indonesia, and from Cambodia. And before we go into the session, let me introduce myself first. My name is Hattia Wongsang Paiboon. I'm currently a technical lead on volunteering for development, VSO International. I'm usually based in Bangkok, Thailand, and I work to support 18 countries across Asia and African country of VSO International. So I'm really, really happy and really excited to be here moderating this session for you today. And let me go ahead and introduce you to our 4 speakers. Our first speaker, Assistant Professor Dr. Kampanath Boriboon. Dr. Kampanath maintained his keen interest in the area of international relations, volunteers, and youth activities, adult education, and exchange programs in ASEAN. During his career as a lecturer of the Department of Adult Education and Lifelong Education, Faculty of Education, Sri Sinakharin Virod University, Bangkok, In his 20 years there, he has initiated many successful training. Okay ค่ะ ใช่ใช่ยังได้ยินติยังได้ยินเสียงซ้อมกันอยู่ไหมคะโอเคไหมโอเคแล้วยังโอเคนะคะโอเคค่ะ Okay, let's continue with the experience from Dr. Kampanath Boriboon. In his 20 years there, he has initiated many successful training projects in adult education and non-formal education. Currently, he is one of the lecturer of graduate program for master and doctoral students at Songkla University, advising students in their research in adult education and community service. He has published many researches and academic articles, as well as in lifelong learning policy, adult learning and education, and non-formal and informal education, older persons education, and the list could go on. Today, we have him to present the topic of volunteering as a pathway to lifelong learning. And I will go ahead and introduce our second speaker, Dr. Desi Aliandrina. I think we have her online. Dr. Desi is a founder and executive director of Sociopreneur ID Indonesia. She is also the head of UNESCO EENet Indonesia National Chapter and also a co-chair of Catalyst 2030 ASEAN. Daisy's entrepreneurial approach is unique, fueled by her desire to build something. With a background in engineering and over 20 years of experience in social courses, including 7 years in aviation safety, she focuses on creating a responsible ecosystem through Sociopreneur ID. Desi has developed targeted programs to encourage society, especially youth, to become accountable agents and prepare for the future through promoting social innovation and entrepreneurship education. Her leadership has been recognized with several awards, including the Meaningful Business 100 Leader and Global Youth Icon Award. Desi will present us the topic of the role of entrepreneurship education in sustainable development. Our third speaker, Solida Chan. She is a project assistant of VSO Cambodia. Lida is a passionate senior manager majoring in international relationship, dedicated to transformative power of civic engagement and youth empowerment. Over the past 3 years, she has immersed herself in volunteer work, leading impactful projects funded by various donors to empower young Cambodians and foster community development. Her experiences have deepened her dedication to promoting youth participation and advocating for meaningful social change. Recently, she co-led a research study on effectiveness of the Volunteer for My Community program, which is a national Cambodian volunteer project under the Ministry of Education and Youth, aiming to identify best practices for enhancing volunteer engagement and maximizing community impact. Her topic of today is a research study on effectiveness of the Volunteer for My Community program. And our fourth speaker, Professor Dr. Natthadet Chumplang. Dr. Natthadet currently serves as a faculty member at the Poi Umpakorn School of Development Studies, Thammasat University. Prior to his role, he taught at the School of Medicine, International University of Health and Welfare in Japan for 6 years. His professional focus has been on health and welfare services for the elderly and providing educational support to care workers in Thailand. Additionally, he has recently concentrated on service learning and education to cultivate young people into global citizens through volunteering. His research endeavors have significantly contributed to enhancing the quality of life for care services and providers working with older persons in Thailand. Furthermore, he has actively engaged in social activities for over 8 years, including serving as an advisor to the Elderly Foundation for OD and advocating for volunteer activities aimed at promoting sustainability. Today, he will present a comparative analysis on experienced and non-experienced volunteer on perception and attitude towards volunteer work among youth in Thailand during COVID-19. So please join me to welcome our 4 speakers. Thank you very much. And last but not least, I'd like to also introduce you to our expert in the room. Together with us, we have Dr. Weerasak Chongsuviwatwong, Professor of Community Medicine, Curriculum Chairman, International Program for Graduate Study in Epidemiology, Faculty of Medicine, Prince of Songkla University. He is a founder of Prince of Songkla University Graduate Volunteer Program. And this program was founded in order to improve the quality of PSU graduates in community development and to make linkages between the university and the village in collaboration under the conflict era. And he will join us in the conversation towards the end of the session. So I'd like to speak no further. I'd like to invite our first speaker, Assistant Professor Dr. Kampana Boribun. The floor is yours, Dr. Kampana.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator. Good morning, everyone. Professor Dr. Wisa, Associate Professor Dr. Narit, and all speakers and audience. Thank you very much, PSU Volunteer Center, to invite me to be at the second forum in the Volunteer Center PSU Volunteer Forum today. So my paper, my presentation today, I would like to share about the topic in volunteering to pathway to lifelong learning. So this is the presentation, not like a research project, not the research, but like a theme of the lifelong learning to work with the gathering with the volunteer as a share with how to know about concept of lifelong learning and joy to work with the volunteer, especially for the young people and adult people who work with the volunteer program. So I would like to just I would like to share my screen. So, okay, thank you very much. Okay, my topic is I would like to share with you about the volunteering is as a pathway to lifelong learning. So, yeah, and the name, and as we know about the lifelong learning, the concept of lifelong learning now is that normally we know in Thailand, especially Thailand. So we use like a triple L for the lifelong learning, for the education, for the training, including for the activities related with the adult learning. So how do we do activities related with the program is at like a voluntary works related with a lifelong learning. But now the lifelong learning that's been related with the three words. Not only lifelong, but also we have life-wide learning, and also the other one is a life deep learning, because we have activity knowledge. We have to do more from the lifelong learning over the lifetime. But in Thailand right now, in the concept of lifelong learning in Thailand right now, we usually use that, including a type of education, three types of education. In the Educational Act 2002, we still use until now. We use like a lifelong learning. It means three types of education that we serve for the activity, even like the school, in the institution, even like a community. So we have three types of education, or three types of learning in Thailand. For the first one is the formal education. The second one is non-formal education or non-formal learning, and the third one is informal education. This is the concept of the lifelong learning or lifelong education in Thailand. But you see in the six character, we have to compare with three types of education. We compare and we work together. So for the action then, like the formal education is a compulsory. That means every Thai viewer have to learn, to study in the formal education for the compulsory at least 9 years in the education. But the others, after you graduate or you working, mostly the activity of education move to non-formal education and informal education. Even like the school, the community works, the community learning center, also in the voluntary work also have to move to the non-formal education program and informal education program. That I show that in Thailand right now we have to do like this, and the concept of lifelong learning, and that I will show that this the new, I think this is a new like a models. We have like a lifelong learning we use for the all ages, from childhood, youth, adulthood, and elderly. And the life-wide learning model, we use like a formal, non-formal, and informal. For example, and the life deep learning, we concern in the culture and cognition and communication. This means before that we have to mention in the concept of the lifelong learning. Lifelong learning is not theory, but I think it's a circle of learning of the people. Yeah, and this is I adapt from the UNESCO Institute of Lifelong Learning. More than 10 years ago, they show that diagram like this. For the volunteers and people, not only volunteer, but if you want to be like a lifelong learning in the volunteer program, you have to be like a lifelong learner. For especially the volunteer works and volunteer staff and volunteer in the other institution, you have to have. I think you have to be like a lifelong learning characteristic in the 7 topics that correspond about the world, where drive them to seek the answer. The second one is a self-discipline for the lifelong learners. And the third one is the fearless. Do not ignore for the have to challenge to be remedies. And the fourth one is joyful. The lifelong learner enjoy to learning. Volunteer also have to enjoy their learning. Then when they work together with friend with the community, with the organization. The fifth in the courageous, not afraid to change, have to going out of the box to know, finding the knowledge and the growth of the knowledge and activities. And the third one is that need to passion and self-assessment to accomplish their goal. This I think is for the learners. And the last one, the flexible learning is necessary right now because of we have a lot of situation, we have a lot of case, we have a lot of teams about the volunteers. We have to learn and flexible for the curriculum for the activity. That means that, and also prepare for the access to the new information. This means that flexible for the lifelong learners and including the volunteer program too. We talk about the topic of the forum. We talk about SDGs. In my area, I mentioned in the SDGs 4, but mostly the key was mostly in that lifelong learning, lifelong education. That I show you. I finding the 5 message of the 2030 framework of action about the education after the Incheon Declaration 8 years ago. Yeah, the people in those vulnerable situations have to access lifelong learning opportunities. The second, for the policy, for strategy for lifelong learning, for cross-sector approach to strong partnership. And the third one also we mentioned in the flexible learnings. Entry points must be provided for all ages and all educational level. The first one is the learning space for the lifelong learning, and the last one is the lifelong learning must modern learning for the technology. That means that for the volunteers people have to do serve for the implement for the based on the 5 message from the framework in action. I have one things, lifelong learning, lifelong education, lifelong learning and lifelong education in the volunteer mostly work with adult. We mentioned it, adult education, not only the lifelong education or lifelong learning. And we mentioned about the related with linking about the adult education and volunteerism, how to link and cross with the adult education program and non-government organization. And the second, the work of non-government organization close to adults, the education and social work and community development, and the training for the volunteer and profession. That means how to we use lifelong learning program or lifelong learning activities close with the volunteer program. And the other topic related with the program for the concept of experience in the lifelong learning closely with the volunteer program. We have 5 keywords that we show that volunteerism, internship, community service, free education, and also service learning. The 5 keywords also work and done by the organization, and also have like a experience program for the people, including for the volunteer. We have like 2 benefits about the who is benefiting for the recipient and the provider or the service for the learning. That we have to show this experience learning for the volunteer program too. And I would like to share next about the flexible pathway for volunteer and lifelong learning for the volunteers have to learn as a learner. The volunteer has to continuing education or continue learning or continue education, and the change to activity for the formal system, and maybe have to return back to learn and to formal the education and formal learning too. I came from faculty of education. Mostly I teaching in the teacher education student. I would like to, mostly of them, they will be teaching in the formal school, but we have one subject is a core subject for the fourth year student to work with the volunteer activity, and also like a social responsibility project for them to do when they graduate. They have to have concept with the volunteers, concept with the lifelong learning, cross linked together for the local issue problem. This like we call ED 411 social responsibility project management for the mobilize them to work with the community as a volunteer, as a lifelong learner, work together with the local problem. That we utilize the lifelong learning as volunteer as civic learning, including the on vulnerable group or ages group. That means like show that the activities in my faculties, some activity. Also, we also have like a program. They will work with the vulnerable people, not only in the school but also in the outside school for the social problem in the session, and also especially for the retirement for the older people, or work together with the student. Yeah, in the lifelong learning and volunteering and pathway for the lifelong learning, we consider that the volunteer is the working, not only the work, but we have to learn. You have to learn. You have to be a lifelong learners, and flexible methodology. Flexible learning is a key for the volunteer people to be the lifelong learning program in each institution. Okay, this time up slide. Sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kampanar. And I think we're really learning from this presentation, seeing the characteristic of the lifelong learners, someone who learn all their life, and also seeing how volunteering actually contributing to community service and service learning. I think it's very interesting when you say that volunteer work and NGO work actually considering as very contributing to adult education, because it includes a lot of learning and also a lot of training during the process. So I could really see a lot of relatability during that. So thank you so much, Dr. Kampanar. And for those of you who have questions for Dr. Kampanar, you can also put it on the chat box if you have. And for those of you who are sitting in the room, you can have your question at the end of the session. So I'm going to move along to Dr. Desi. And Dr. Desi will be presenting on the topic of the role of entrepreneurship education in sustainable development. So, Dr. Desi, when you are ready, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Professor, speakers, attendees, committees, thank you for having me here. It's a great honor for me to be here and listen to and learn also about what others doing. And I would like to share my presentation here. And it's when I listened to Dr. Gumparat, then I just realized this will be complementary of his presentations, because I'm going to talk more about how we practice the project in Indonesia. So here I would like to share. In Indonesia itself, we have potentials to we say it according to World Giving Index. Indonesia is the most generous country. Then it's and it's also we find the practice in about the social innovations, social entrepreneurship in Indonesia. It happened a long time ago, and it embed in our culture. Then, according to, if you want to look deeper, Indonesian is you can see how the Indonesian donate money. We are number 2, top in the world. Then also for volunteer time. But we have another issues. You cannot see in the top 10 Indonesia for help strangers. So the fact, this is how we see this. We see this as we see this imply that generosity to help others, because they have relatedness. They might know each other. They might come from the same group. Maybe they come from the same schools, from the same village, cities, or the same tribes. So that's how we see. It's really easy for us to asking others to volunteer the time or donate money, but in terms of helping others not related to them, it's become an issue in Indonesia. We see this an opportunity, but also a challenge. So if you see in the last 12 years, according to World Giving Index, this is the same in Indonesia. So that's why we want to use volunteerism to make how them not only help others that relate to them. So this how we start to introduce volunteerism into the youth, but also engage the adult to help also. So what we are doing is, because there are so many good people, but they only don't know how to channel the good intentions. When we conduct studies in 2013, according to do Indonesians really want to help others? They even don't know who they are. They said it's like, yes, they're willing. But the fact is not many channels to do that. So we found it. What we need is we creating a space, a room channel. You can say that whatever the name is, to make them freely associate, assembly, and take action together to create positive impact to their surrounding. They don't care. It's like if it going to impact others who they don't know, because they're willing to do that. Only the channel that not many exist in Indonesia. So then in 2013, then we start to call for volunteers. Then we also know that in order to engage them in volunteerism, then it has to be something, not only talking about something meaningful, but it has to be fun, easy, and relatable to them. So we use these 4 keywords to design voluntary model that apply not only for the youth, but also for adults in Indonesia. Then since 2013, we have impacted 2.8 million people in Indonesia. We engaged 39,000 individuals, and nearly 80% of them, they volunteers in 2013. Now they become adult and still engaged into the system. Why? Because we create so many aspects for them to involve. We engage them from beginning. So one story during the pandemic, because there are a lot of issues in Indonesia education system, because they affect a lot because of the pandemic. So we create a platform how to design educational content that can help children in primary and secondary schools to learn, because we do research, not many content about educations available in online. Then we engage youth volunteers, but we also have professionals that who has more than 8 years experience. So we call it expert voluntary or experturing, to work together. So these professionals become the expert to talk about what they are doing, provide a content, curated it, and the youth work together to design the educational contents. Then during the pandemic, we have more than 156 educational clips that we distribute to more than 400 schools in Indonesia. Until today, many universities also do the same, and then using the models to engage the youth, to engage the students to create the real impact into the society. And another thing is also because they come from all over the world working together, not only the students in one university, but all over Indonesia, and many also of them come from abroad to work together to create the educational tools. Then until today, we produce at least 100 educational clips every year, come from all over the world. Then this is why it succeeds. That because we need to see 2 components here. One is the youth leaders, and another one is government, universities, and schools. And we have a lot of youth who wants to create adventure, who want to help others, who want to use the knowledge, who wants to use who wants to make a meaningful impact, but they have no access to it. Then that's why the government, industry, schools, and university, and also society need to provide a space, room, channels for them. So it gives them an access to involve, not only ask them to do, but make them be having an ownership, because we let them start from beginning. Then engage them to since beginning. Not only you design by yourself and then give it to the youth. So what we are doing is we work together directly with the youth from beginning. We have an issues and let's do it together. Then once we have a concept, we apply technology to amplify the impact. We are not using technology from beginning, but we want to come up into the concrete actions together, combine all aspects, all stakeholders since beginning. So that's why until today, more than we already have 4,000 active volunteers, and then they still work with us until today to design many volunteering programs in Indonesia, and now we also work in other countries. And so what I want to say here at the end is, it's when we talk about to engage youth to create an impact, it's not based on our view, but based on what the youth needs and what they want to do. Then engage them from beginning. So we have ownership together. The collective ownership is very important to make them. It's not only one-shot volunteer, but they become volunteering for the whole time, because we already practice it. Even they not a youth anymore, they become adult. They still want to join with volunteerism. So I think that's our experience from Indonesia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Desi. I think we've learned so much from your very short presentation. We learned about the situation of Indonesia and also how Indonesia as a country is the world's most generous country. I think that's an information that that's very striking for us, as a people who working in development. And again, I think we always talk about how do we engage young people to do more volunteer work, to do more social activities. But I think your presentation really helped us really understand that it should come from a very it comes from a very basic understanding that what the youth needs and what they want to do. And actually, that's really aligned with the first presentation from Dr. Kampanat on how volunteering actually relating to the adult education and lifelong learning, because once they volunteer and they see the difference, they see the impact, they see what they can do, they become the volunteer for a lifetime. And that's a really wonderful presentation from you, Dr. Desi. I'm going to move along to our third speakers. Solida Chan. Are you with us?
Sure, I'm in. I'm about to share screen soon.
Great. Solida is going to share with us a research study on effectiveness of the volunteer for my community program. The floor is yours, Solida. Can you make it a little bigger? Or can you put in the presentation mode?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now it's working. Yes.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone and guest speakers here and audience, lovely audience, to be honest. It's Lida from Cambodia and also the project system from VSO, and today I'm very excited to share with you about actually it has to be evaluative study which is conducted recently, and I'm here just the co-lead of this study. So let's not further delay, let's get into it. So this evaluative study was the conducts under the theme effectiveness of volunteer for my community, for my community program. So at the shortcut is a VMC program. So this is my content here, and what is the background? So volunteer for my community, or VMC, is the Cambodia's largest national volunteering program was initiated in 2019 by Departments of Youth Program under Ministry of Education and Sport and has been successfully operated for 6 years. So you might wondering what is the volunteering for my community mean. So can the team shares the video screen? All right, so that everyone or audience can be aware what is the VMC's programs.
Maybe you need to stop sharing and then the team here will share the video. Yeah, okay.
Welcome to the journey of hope and transformation. Did you know volunteering is the heartbeat of Cambodian culture? It's more than just an activity. It's a way of life. It's a legacy of sharing and mutual assistance passed down through generations. And guess what? This tradition is still very much alive today, fuel our journeys towards social development and unity. It's the glue that holds our community together. Let me tell you about something truly special. The Volunteer for My Community program, to life by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports in partnership with United Nations Volunteer, is changing lives and reshaping futures. Since 2019, VMC has been a beacon of hope, empowering youth all across 25 provinces of Cambodia. It's a movement, growing stronger every day, with young hearts and mind, dreaming, initiating, and bringing to life projects that can transform their community. These young volunteers are teaching children, nurturing crops, protecting our environment, and improving healthcare. They tackle issues head-on, working hand in hand with local authorities and community. They're not just volunteers. They're the leader of tomorrow, gaining invaluable experience that will shape their future. Through volunteering, youth gain more than just skills in project management and leadership. They learn about teamwork and resilience and the power of community. They gain a sense of purpose and belonging. It's a transformative experience that stays with them for life, building a better future for everyone. Every year, we celebrate the brightest star of VMC, honoring outstanding project with financial support, trophies, and certificate. These honors are more than just symbols. They're a source of inspiration, proving that our youth hold the power to create the profound and lasting change. Their stories are beacons of hope. VMC program is more than just volunteering. It's a movement, reshaping our future, building bridges of hopes and understanding, creating connection that transcend cultural and social barriers. It's about empowering our youth, nurturing critical thinking, and cultivating a deep love for our nation and its people. Cambodian youth are crafting a brighter, more compassionate future for us all. They are change makers. What are you waiting for? Join us. Be part of this incredible journey. Together, we can make a difference. Volunteer for your community today.
Hi, Solida, you can share your
Thank
screen
you,
again.
Steve, for sharing. Thank you for sharing the potentials of VMC program. So let's get back to the screen. So do you see screen, right?
Yes, you can see.
So all right, I'm running short of time. So this is the objective, why we are here, why we do the evaluations report. As you can see that VMC has been successfully been almost 6 years already. So we are here just to evaluate what VMC has been done, what VMC has been reviewed. So throughout the data collection, FGD-KI with the potential relevant stakeholder and also youth, we also come up with the key finding. Importantly, first thing first, if VMC contribute as the youth empowerment. So VMC program has highly successfully in the building capacity toward the projects management in terms of soft skill, technology, and also technological expertise. So regarding the data collections that we receive from the participant at the VMC's youth, 77% of them believe that the skill has gained long-term applicability and also incredibility and also employmentability. So regarding this, we have observed that youth in Cambodia throughout the VMC's program, they have gained a lot regarding the communication skill, leadership skill, confidence skill, and also patience skill, so on and so forth regarding the this program. So this is our data that shows that youth has been gained during the VMC's program. So just you know that VMC program has been hosted every year. So the youth access to VMC, they have 1 year to do the projects. So this is what they actually scan during they receive the training from VMC's team. First thing first, communication skill, teamwork, time management, and also problem solving skill, plus hard skill and also project management skill. You can see the blue with the orange. This is the percentage of their positive feedback from the VMC or from youth in Cambodia that access to VMC's program. So speaking of that as well, so with the level of the confidence within these three SIM, we could see that 3.6% they confident about their soft skill, and also 3.8% they confident they receive the hard skill from VMC, and as well as the 3.7% they received the capacity building regarding the project management skill from VMCs. So which means that VMC program has been contributed so much to youth during the high school. So mostly on VMC program, we receive a lot of youth during high school, which is the school never teach them about this kinds of this thing before. So which is like we contribute so much to youth with that period of time. So the second thing, we can see that the appreciations of volunteerism. So as much as we do the KI and as well the FGD with youth, they express the feeling like that, like, oh, I don't know what the volunteers means to them. They just access in school, and when the time to go home, they just go home. They just don't know what it actually volunteer means to them. So once they join the VMC's programs, they certainly have surprisingly that 80.45% youth has expressed sincerely appreciation of the value. So which means that you start to appreciate, start to know what is the values of volunteer, what volunteer has been done to them. So as much as I receive from them, they start to know what is their strength, what is their weakness, what actually they can do to their society by their capacity building they receive from VMC. So we can say that this program has fostered the self-development opportunity, which have participants get more experience, build network that will serve them in the future's career. So, and also, you may have a text with the perceptions of volunteer. So we also receive the positive feedback regarding the perception of volunteer as well. So not only that, they also share with us that once they receive, a lot of them, they share that, oh, VMC has have them a lot to discover themselves. So they start to know what is the values of volunteer, and they start to encourage their friends, their peer to know what is to access into VMC and start to know what is the volunteer. So which means that VMC and fosters them to feel influence about the volunteerism as well. So that also leads to the effect of the VMC programs on you. So you may have this as well. This is the positive feedback they considering about the volunteering for another project in the future, some kinds of stuff here. So I also highlight on that, which is working on the perceptions of long-term benefit program participation. So most of them, they said that they feel they have gained skill, as I mentioned earlier, soft skill and hard skill, they actually enhance their employability in the future almost 80.47, which means that once they access into VMC's program, they start to know what they actually want, what they actually, which major they actually want to pursue in their uni life. So which means that it also contributes to them to be more self-awareness regarding their future career as well. And also the skills that scans through VMC align with their inspiration almost 72.12, and also the VMC have influenced to them into the higher education 20% as well. So regarding this, VMC not only train them about the capacity building, self-awareness, but also encourage them to use the skill to develop the projects, to respond to the community. So as I mentioned earlier, VMC has been spread into widely 25 provinces in Cambodia, which is all provinces in Cambodia, to let the youth to address the issue by leading their mini projects to respond their issue in their community. So regarding to that, they also mentions that 73.1% they believe that the projects that delivers to community has been more long-term positive to the community. So I will go short. So the fourth one, the last one regarding our finding is the operational capacity. So VMC also set up, as you can see, the roadmap. They set up the 1 year's, program deliveries to them, or once they access into the VMC's program, they have to be trained, how many training they actually have, and how many months or period they actually have time to implement their project. After that, they have the pitching stage. So we can see that the mechanism of the VMC has been in place and also has ready to be implemented from year to year as well. And also, you also rate their training they receive from VMC's program from time to time, almost 73.3% positively as well. So back into recommendation, I will go shortly, I'm sorry. So recommendation, what we actually can see that we have to improve more what we have been done, and we can scale up the VMC programs even more regarding the recruitment process, which means that we have to broaden the recruitment, including our school. So mostly, VMC has been received only the in-school, but we also want to enhance. We also enhance this awareness toward the youth out of school, unemployment individual, and as well the marginalized group to ensure that we have the inclusive volunteers of inclusive youth access into volunteerism. And also program delivery, we want to have a smaller group to ensure that they capture well regarding the training they receive from VMC. Another one is the institutional support, which means that they want to ensure that the communication between national and provincial level has the consistent communication that can deliver to youth from the province clearly and precisely. And back into awareness, they want to promote. We want to see the VMC's program has been even more spreadly, not only our school and also not only in school, but also our school plus marginalized group as well regarding this potential of the VMC's program. And also the last one, we want to strengthening the partnerships. So also VMC relies on the partner or INTO. They're actually working with volunteer, and also VSO also one of the biggest part partnership with them as well, that we mostly provide them the technical and also financial support to implement, to make sure that this project or this program has the smoothly influence, smoothly provide the everything to you regarding the capacity building and also address the issue in the community. So yeah, it's come to short. Yes, I'm sorry for less tracks of time, and thank you everyone for that.
Thank you so much, Salida-chan. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. I think it's really, really clear. What you show us, the impact. Actually, it's really clear to see the impact of this program, Volunteer for My Community, towards the young people who went through the program itself. Seeing how how young people being more confident and seeing this experience contributing to their career. I think this is the element that we see coming quite a lot in youth volunteering on the ability and also the experience that they learn through the volunteering experience actually contributing to their employability as well. So this is great to hear. Thank you so much. I'm going to move along to the last speaker, Assistant Professor Dr. Nathadet Chumplang. He will be presenting to us a perception and attitude towards volunteer work among youth in Thailand during COVID-19, a comparative analysis of experienced and non-experienced volunteer. The floor is yours, Dr. Nathadet.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, whether you are here in person or participating via Zoom. Today, I would like to share my research on perceptions and attitudes towards volunteer work among youth in Thailand during COVID-19, a comparative analysis of experienced and non-experienced volunteers. In this study, we explore how COVID-19 pandemic has influenced volunteerism among Thai youth. Specifically, we compare the perceptions and attitudes of youth with prior volunteer experience to those without. Our goal is to understand how this experience shape their willingness to engage in volunteer activities during challenging times. Okay. Let me start by giving you an overview of today's presentation. We'll begin with an introduction to the topic, followed by the context of COVID-19 in Thailand. Next, we'll delve into the definition and importance of youth volunteerism. And then we'll examine the survey results and findings from our comparative analysis. Finally, we'll conclude with recommendations and suggestions based on my research. Okay. To set the stage, let's look at the pandemic's impact in Thailand. The first COVID-19 case was reported in January 2020, which led to multiple waves of infection. The health system faced a significant threat with hospital reaching capacity and shortage of medical supplies. Economically, the tourism sector, a major contributor to Thailand's GDP, was hit hard, resulting in widespread job losses and increased poverty. And socially, lockdowns disrupt education and daily life, particularly affecting vulnerable populations. Next, regarding the government response, the government implemented several measures. Strict public health protocols were enforced, including lockdowns, travel restriction, and mandatory mask wearing. A nationwide vaccination campaign began in 2021 to immunize the population. Economic support came in the form of financial aid package for affected business and individuals. Community engagement was also encouraged with focus on local volunteerism to bolster health initiatives. Okay, but let's move to the context of COVID-19. Okay, despite this effort, several community needs emerged. There was a significant demand for health, education, and mental health support. Food security became a pressing issue due to job losses, leading to increased demand for food assistance. Education and educational access was another concern, especially in rural areas, lacking resources for remote learning. Support for vulnerable groups was crucial to ensure their received necessary aid during these challenging times. Okay, now let's discuss youth volunteerism. Youth volunteerism generally refers to activities where young people aged 15 to 30 participate without compensation for the benefit of individuals, communities, or society as a whole. Okay. In Thailand, volunteerism is rooted in cultural and religious values, with many young people participating in community service as a part of their education through local organization. During COVID-19 situation, youth volunteers play important roles such as supporting the healthcare system, providing essential service, and fostering community solidarity. Okay, importance of youth volunteering during COVID-19 pandemic. Here is my literature review related youth volunteerism during COVID-19 pandemics. Regarding importance of youth volunteerism, several points stand out. Like community support, adaptability, skill development, mental health benefits, and long-term civic engagement. The next slide, I would like to move to the survey of volunteerism amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. To delve deeper, we conduct a survey with two main objectives. The first one, to study the situation of volunteerism during COVID-19 pandemic. And second one, to examine the attitude, intentions, and behaviors as well as the trends of volunteerism in Thailand. Our survey cover volunteers at all levels across the country using both quantitative questionnaire and qualitative focus group discussion. Okay, next I will explain the survey on volunteer activities. The objective were to understand the state of volunteer activities during COVID-19 and examine attitudes, behaviors, and trends towards volunteers in Thailand. Okay. Here are some key. Here's some key demographic from our 800 respondents. Here is a group. 25%, and then adults groups 60%, and the last one senior groups 60 years and over 15%. The survey includes 800 participants, of which 25% were young people aged 15 to 30. We collect detailed data such as years of volunteer experience and whether they had volunteer experience before COVID-19. We conduct a detailed analysis of participation status of young group in volunteer activities. Okay, the next one is youth breakdown. We also categorize the youth respondents by gender to understand any differences in volunteerism between male and female participants. And okay, and okay. We look at the year of experiences in volunteer work among respondents to see how experience level affected attitude and participation. Let me check again. Sorry. We asked youth participants whether they have volunteer experience before the pandemic. This helps us differentiate between experiences and non-experiences. Volunteers understand prior involvement, provided insight into how the pandemic influenced their perception and willingness to volunteer. Here is types of voluntary activities during COVID-19 among youth. During the pandemic, the type of volunteer activities youth participate in were diverse. The most common was public activities such as food distribution at sharing pantries and food banks, accounting for 41%. Next, support activities at shelters and isolation centers made up 21.72%. Other activities include providing service and advice, making cloth masks, and supplying medical supplies, covering a wide range of effort. Okay, the next slide, attitude towards volunteer work. We evaluate attitudes towards volunteer work based on several statements. The majority of youth strongly agreed or slightly agree that volunteer work effort. Looking at the attitude towards volunteer work, the majority of young people show a very positive stance. For example, regarding volunteer work, instill a sense of pride and achievement, and an opportunity to develop personal skills and learn new skills. Over 90% completely agree. Additionally, for statement volunteer work, have discover meaning and where in life, 89% mostly agree. Okay. Comparison between experienced and unexperienced volunteers. When comparing the two groups, experienced volunteers are more likely to agree with positive statement about sharing value with the community, utilizing their knowledge and skill, and creating personal and societal value. But on the other hand, non-experienced in volunteer work, this group tend to agree more strongly with positive statement about creating personal value and gaining respect, utilizing skill for beneficial purpose, and discovering personal meaning and value in life. The next slide, overall observation. The survey shows the both experienced and non-experienced volunteer have positive attitudes towards volunteering. Experienced volunteers are more likely to agree with statement about sharing value with the community and using their skills for social benefit, while non-experienced volunteers focus on personal value and respect. Okay, the conclusion. Our study reveals a strong consensus among Thai youth on the value of volunteer work. Both those with and without prior experience recognize the benefits themselves and society. This shows an opportunity to encourage greater young youth participation in volunteer activities by highlighting how volunteering can utilize their skill and contribute to personal fulfillment. Here's my suggestion. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nattadeb. I think your presentation again, very much tell us again how volunteering is important to young people. And also, I'm actually very surprised, but also, very happy to hear when you share that actually the volunteer who have no experience before COVID, also even having a stronger belief that the volunteer experience contributing to that skills and so on. So I think, like you say in the suggestion, where we should encourage and also provide more space for young people to be able to use the skill, use their knowledge to contribute to society through volunteering. So thank you very much for your presentation. And I think the time for now is the time for everyone now. I'd like to, open the floor for us here and also for our friends online. If you have any question to any of our speakers, please feel free to, you can show us, click the icon, hands up, and then we will make sure that you get to ask your question. But I think since we have Dr. Virasak here in the room, I'd like to invite you to say something or ask a question for our speakers, please.
Thank you very much, Khun Kathaya, and all the speakers and the organizer who have this help in having this international meeting. The participating countries has some commonalities. That is the strong civil societies in Thailand, Indonesia, Cambodia. I think this reflects I think civil society is linked with volunteerism, inseparable. So this is a good time to come to share experience. The second commonality is all the project that I have heard is about the training of the volunteers and assessment of the target. That is the youth volunteers, which is along with the theme of this meeting. And we have all positive finding. Nobody say training of youth volunteer is not good and negative results. So I think we have common experience and we should go ahead with training this volunteer because it is a step to, as you said, preparing for global citizens. I'm epidemiologist, I'm a researcher, so I always critical. And sorry if I'm too critical. I think we have to identify the weakness and the challenge in order to move forward. What should be the target in the evaluations? Should we target? I would say this is the captive audience. The captive audience means you are in the concert hall and you lock all the halls. And the audience, they like or don't like, they listen to you. So the students are captive audience of the teachers of the university. They have no way to go. They have to run for the credit. So they have to sit in and whatever who you want them to do. I think that's and you target on this one. I think you should move a little bit forward to see what's their real activities, and how I think most of the activity that I here observe from the presentation is generally education. I don't see the field work, for example. You can see that we have a serious problem of floodings, and in 20 years ago we have tsunamis, and that needs a lot of volunteers, right? So this volunteer works very hard in any disaster. We did not employ this opportunity to train our volunteer, our youth volunteers. Is usually is the professional one, like the all sort of foundation or the group. A lot of them are very well prepared. They have experience and they turn experience into very quick response to the disasters. And this is advanced step of the Thai volunteerism. They are well organized, and they quickly deployed, and they work well with the government sectors. I think the student should be encouraged. I mean, it's not the student, it's the. And when we were student at my time, 60 years ago. Okay, there's a discrepancy between the university student and the villagers, because the university students are supposed to be successful people, right? They compete. They compete to get the university and very good reputations. So a lot of volunteerism were done by the university students themselves, not the professors. The professor is just open their mouth, oh, say, what are you doing, right? Most of the activities, but nowadays, opposite. Probably because of status of the university student is not as strong before, because everybody can enter the university. University student is not a prestigious positions, but the university professor are. So the prestigious people run the program, run the shows. But I don't see that. I don't see the output. I don't see the output of the university in running the show, in solving this volunteerism. I saw a lot of civil society outside in COVID period. Okay, I think most of the activity are volunteer. They find some oxygen. You know, a lot of doctors move from different places, go to the rural area, go to help people. Rural doctor help patients in the downtown of Bangkok, for example. These are volunteerism run by professionals. The university just victimized by this disaster. I think we have to reorientate the university to have a more strong, more assertive activities, take more challenge, think of our weakness and how to move forward. Otherwise, we play passive roles. We are teaching in the past university. We know that university is inequitable because the highest income university in Bangkok get a lot of money from the university, train rich people. Right? The people in the rural in the rural private university, they train poor people, high tuition fees, and after graduates get less chance to get good jobs. So this kind of challenge in equity issues, and how to mobilize the underprivileged group to strengthen up, to stand up and do volunteerism, not just depend on upper class people, right? So I think this one should be a challenge for many universities that have to work. We have to plan ahead, for example. I see very silent attitudes of Southern University in the flooding, right? we know that the flooding, what you call the depression bands move within 3 months. It will come 2-3 months. It will come here. It arrived southern Thailand in November, right? But we did not respond. We just, okay, when the flood comes, then we go out. Maybe have the student to dispatch the food. I think this is passive growth. No planning ahead, no activity working with the government, could not identify what our strength and what we should do and how we should train our students. When the flood comes, the sea is closed. Nobody is here. So we escape the blame. I think we have to reorientate ourselves, do ahead, proactive planning, train our students to get involved, to be ahead, and equipped with the volunteerism ideas and the competence how to deal with different things. Disaster is just one of the examples that I want to send. So I would say that you have done so well. Look at your students, train them, and they are happy. But that's not enough, because volunteerism should be the third powers. We have 2 powers in the world, superpower. One is the state or the government, right? The politician, they are superpower. Second is the capital. Capitalism is a capital. We have to encourage volunteerism as the third power to balance the other 2 superpower in the world. And this is the duties of our group to counterpart the tyrannies of the superpower, and to gear them, to harness them to in direction. Volunteerism, we have a strong say if you are strong. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Virasak. And I do really appreciate your critical message for us here. I think a lot of us are really seeing the impact and wonderful work of volunteers. But I think your message is right here. A lot of us are here as lecturers and those who work with students and young people. So it's very much for us to think of how we can be more proactive, and we can take a stronger stand on how we contribute to the current issues and the situation of our society. I think this would be a little difficult to follow, but as we're having Dr. Virasak sharing a comment, I'd like to invite our audience here in online and also here, if anyone would like to share further comments. We have a hands up here. Please shortly introduce yourself, and please feel free to share your thoughts.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Nandini Malanon. I'm from the Center for SDG Research and Support at Thammasat University. First of all, I would like to thank all the speakers, the 4 speakers, with your great, contribution to our volunteering community in Thailand and in other countries. I have one question, one concern following the Dr. Virasak comments. As everyone, we are facing the more challenged situations in all the aspects, environmental, economic, politics. And from your insightful experience involving with the volunteering promotion or support to your young people, I would like to have your ideas how we move forward to the more resilient society and with the more impactful volunteering. This is the I'm open to anyone in our speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kunantini, for your question. Any of our speakers, we also have Dr. Kampana and Dr. Nathadet here in the room, and also Dr. Desi and Solidarchan in our online online. So yeah, if any one of you ready, please feel free to share your thoughts.
Can I share some thought about this?
Please.
Okay. Yes. First of all, thank you for the questions. I think that I will share this based on our experience in Indonesia. In the last 3 years, there is the new policy in higher education system that allow students to go up to 3 semesters out of their study program. So 2 semesters they can spend in industry or in society. And what we are doing is how we include volunteerism into this new policy. Then I work with Ministry of Education. Then we start to use the priority of the government, the national priority agenda. And we use that one to identify what is the biggest challenge in the local, in the regions, and also in the national context. For example, we have a big problem about stunting. We have a big problem about extreme poverty. And we have a lot of a big problem also is about the climate change. We affect a lot about climate change. So these students, then we engage them for 1 to 2 semesters working directly with the local government to solve the specific issues in that area. Then I give one example that I can give it to you is in Sumatra, then working with the local government to reduce the poverty. From overall, we moved 1.5 million students in 3 years, and we contribute into 23.73% of the national priority agenda. We reduced the extreme poverty from 11 into 6.8%. And then we reduce also stunting from 9.2 into 3.3%. So it's mean like it's not going to solve if we only hope the government solve it by themselves. So by having a volunteerism through the new policy in education system, I think that we can give a space to students to directly involve into the national priority. So that's what we are doing.
That's great, Dr. Desi. I think really eye-opening for us as well how Indonesian government really including volunteerism into the policy. Any other speakers I would like to share?
Just Dr. I have any questions for my experience in my university, my higher education institution. We also have we try to put in the for the volunteer program in university students. Mostly, I think in the general education subjects that they have some team of volunteers in the general education subject in all university. But in my campus also we also arrange some volunteer subjects, and that I showed is the spend 1 semester for the teacher student to work with the communities and wrap up for the program. So, but in the general education, but just for the first year student to learn more about the volunteer activities and work with the social engagement with the communities. Just I think we just start and put in the general education. Yeah, we have to one for general ed, and the second one is for the some elective subjects in my university. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kampana. I think that's a really great example from Songkla University. I'm looking at the time. I'm a little conscious that we are coming out we are coming down to the last minute of our session. I'm looking around if anyone would like to have the last. Yes, Dr. Virasak.
I think the Indonesian speakers give us very good ideas. I talked to the consulate of China because we in the Deep South, we have a lot of poverty area, and we think how the government should, help the kids to have better boarding school to solve the problem of malnutrition, stunted, lack of immunization, etc. So we talked to the consulate, and she said, in China, it's all the university has to take care of certain counties to reduce the poverty. And China was really successful in poverty reduction program, as we know. And I think the example of Indonesia has a good examples. China has a policy that all university staff, all department has to organize. And in that case, the student will have to join. So it become a part of the education program, maybe to do this problem. When we start the graduate volunteer program 20 years ago, the strategy is important. We look why we run this program because we think this is a part of solving long-term conflict problem in the Deep South. That means that we have to recruit volunteers from the Deep South to solve the problem in the Deep South. The training program should be outside because we want them to expose to the new ideas. We have the training program like you do, but it's longer term. It's 1 year term program. But within the training, we set the activities and measure the output, whether this is successful. For example, in working with the village should be able to come up, a group of people come up with the proposal, submit to some funding agency for the local development, and they can continue. So forming a group, either elderly or health group or youth group in the village, and write a proposal and contact with the university professor to help, and also with the local, government, government agency to support. This is an integrated program, and we measure that one, not just measure whether the trainees are happy or they feel they have perception this like this. I think we have to have, but this needs really good organization because we have to recruit staff to support. We have to locate the area where you train the volunteers and mobilize those to think. And also we have to mobilize a lot of financial resources to support. This is not just free. So fortunately, that time there was what you call the violence, and people support us a lot, and we can raise fund. But nowadays it's more difficult. I understand that raising fund, but if you can identify some opportunities, for example, you look at disaster. Everybody is still a lot of temptation to help the disaster. It's an opportunity to raise fund, to raise the projects, right? And to come up with some certain program to do some technical activities. I think you have to identify the opportunity and well organize, not just teach, but organize, work with them, and mobilize more university staff to join. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, speaker, everybody. It's a good experience and research. I think we can talking to cooperate with this research. In in other country, I don't know Indonesia, Cambodia, but in Thailand they have many government volunteering, agriculture, health promotion, environmental, social development, volunteer. But when we have a critical situation, we can work in unity. What is impact in Thailand? We think we have different about the system, program, or program training. They have different and cannot when the situation is critical in Thailand. I think the university can co-organize and at the center or mini center to working in the university. I think this in the conference we will talking and consult with the other organization to talking about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Virasak and Dr. Narit, for the comments, and also, we see opportunities, and we see the potential of the collaboration after this session as well. So that's really, really positive. I see one hand from the representative of the Ministry of Social Development and Human Security. So I'd like to invite Kunyata, and I believe this will be our last speaker of the session, but please go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. My name is Yai Campus from the Office of the National Commissions of the Social Welfare Promotions, Department of Social Development and Health and Welfare. So first of all, I would like to thank the fruitful presentations from all the speakers, and it's quite opened our ideas and the concept of how we can engage people. In terms of intergenerations involved in the volunteers' work, and as Dr. Narit said that I could say that is the challenge point, that how we can work together, linking between the government, the communities, and also education institutions. And as we have the memorandum of collaborations with the universities, we try to launch the coordination centers in the regions, so this is our challenge. But now, as Dr. Nari said, I think we have the way to go, and the way to achieve this if we can work together. And also our department would like to thanks for the university that involved us in this event. And another interesting point from Dr. Kampanas is quite challenged as well, because as the government, as the ministry, we have the volunteers as well. We work with the volunteers in the communities. We call human social development and human securities volunteers, or PAMO. And also they have many roles for other. I believe that for other ministry, for the ministries of health, for Ministry of Justice, every roles of the government of the volunteers in one person's. And the most challenge is that we always think that the one who involved in the volunteers, especially in for our ministry, we get most of them are the aging people, and sometimes they say that it is quite difficult to work with the aging people. This is just feedback. they cannot, sometimes they work well with the people, but when they want to improve their work with technology or some tools that we work with, would like to offer their tool to work, but it sometimes it's not go along well. So our executive or our partners try to involve the young generations involved in the volunteers work. But the thing that Dr. Kamana said, I think is very important that if we can buy the idea that working with the volunteers or being the volunteers is the way to improve and to empower our abilities to lifelong learning. So I think this is the important point, and this is very interesting. I think I have to consult Dr. Kampanat for this issue after this. So this is just a little bit sharing with the participants. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. I think it's been a very, very fruitful and enjoyable conversation we have. And I'm sure during lunchtime, there will be a lot of conversation to see the collaboration. And also, I hope after this conversation, we see some new ideas coming out of this session. So I think we're a little bit over time. So thank you very much for all of you who are staying with us. I hope you learn as much as I do. And see you again in the next session after lunchtime. Thank you very much.